The Divine Birth.
I started to tell you the story of your birth. I became pregnant 2 years after my marriage. In the 7th month of pregnancy, I went to my parents' house in Sangama for the delivery. My daily routine came back to that of my unmarried days. The only difference was that I did not seek the friendship of sadhus who came to have the vision of the rishi. My mother was not happy about my wandering in the forest since I was nearing full term, but she knew me and so was hesitant to impose strict discipline. I continued to bathe every day at Sangama or at Brahma Kundam. The gypsy women who knew about some of my yogic powers used to follow me from a distance just to keep an eye to ensure that I was safe. I treasured the innocent love that they showed towards me. As the expected date of delivery got closer, I preferred to be quiet most of the time. There was an incredible glow in me. My mother's concern for my welfare was increasing. During this period, my brother Krishnappa had the good fortune of having the vision of the rishi, but unfortunately, it resulted in his becoming paralyzed. When he started to recover, I resumed my wandering in the forest. Now and then, mother would come in search of me and take me home with her. As soon as she got busy with her housework, I would slip away again to go to the Brahma Kundam. Gradually, I reduced my walks in the forest. I would go straight to the Brahma Kundam and sit there for a few hours and return home. The surprising thing was, even though I was nearing full term, I never felt the heaviness of the pregnancy. It was only in my later pregnancies that I felt any discomfort. On Jyeshta Shuddha Ekadasi, Tuesday, in the year Chitrabhanu, I somehow could not sleep well and woke up when it was still very dark. I felt like going to the Brahma Kundam at once. Without disturbing the others, I slipped out of the house. The path was familiar to me and I reached Brahma Kundam. Some gypsy women who were up early to look after their livestock must have seen me. They started to follow me but kept their distance. I went straight to the Brahma Kundam. At the Brahma Kundam, I used the rocks as stepping stones and I went down to the waters. I sat on a rock that jutted out to form a comfortable seat to sit on. Now and then, a wave splashed the water and wet my feet. Just before dawn, I went into a deep samadhi. There was some disturbance that woke me from that state. The first thing that I saw was bright light. Soon the sun came up and brightened the place further. Only then I saw the baby on my lap. There was a pleasant fragrance coming from nearby. I realized that it came from the baby. Like Lord Pashupati in his Shiva Diksha, the entire body of the baby from head to foot was smeared with Vibhooti. The sweet scent was from that. The Vibhooti also covered his eyelids. There were 2 necklaces on the baby. One was a rudraksha mala and the other was a saligrama mala. Both were strung in gold. My sari was wet up to my stomach. The water was splashing on the baby's feet. I don't know how in the heat of the summer the waters in the Brahma Kundam rose to that height. I was leaning against the stone wall. I felt like holding the baby in my arms, but I had no strength to do so. Only then did I realize that my mother had come to Brahma Kundam but couldn't reach the spot where I was sitting with the baby. She was wailing because she couldn't come to help me. She was frightened for the safety of the mother and the baby. She wasn't strong enough to come down to where I was. On top of the hill I could see a wooden cot that was prepared for the baby and me. A few of the gypsy men and women were watching us anxiously. It looked like they were all ready to take us home. One of the elderly gypsies came down, picked up the baby and gave him to my mother. My mother noticed the ornaments on the baby and was confused whether to consider them a good or a bad omen. A few other gypsies came down to give me a hand and to help me walk up to the top. They gave me a warm medicinal drink. With that, I regained some of my strength. I got on the cot and lay down on it with my baby. On observing the surroundings and my own clothes, I realized that it must have rained that morning. Using the poles, the gypsies carried the cot on their shoulders. It was like going on a palanquin. A mat was placed on the floor at home and a blanket was placed over it. The baby and I laid down on the mat comfortably. The baby had the first feel of Mother Earth. Soon the 2 necklaces disappeared from his neck. This time Mother was frightened about their disappearance. A number of gypsies had seen the Vibhooti on the baby, but many had not seen the necklaces. I thought there was no need to be concerned about the necklaces that had disappeared. I warned my mother and the gypsies not to discuss about the necklaces and the Vibhooti, in case it should invite the evil eye of those who might not wish us well. They all agreed to keep mum. After the gypsies left, my mother asked,
"Who helped you during labor? Who cut the cord?"
I did not have an answer for her questions. I didn't know the answer myself. What answer could I give her? Finally, to pacify her, I said,
"Mother, I don't have an answer to your question. I don't know it myself. Mother, strange things have been happening to me since the time of my marriage. It must all be due to the grace of the Rishi. This must also be one of the acts of his grace. Stop thinking about it and just accept it."
When she heard me mention the Rishi, my mother kept quiet and didn't ask any more questions. She said,
"The great Rishi has been your savior all along. Even today, by his powers, he became your midwife and has assisted you. Oh Rishishvara, please protect our children. Please protect us all the time. Oh Rishishvara, please protect us."
Repeatedly, she offered her prayers to the unseen Rishi. Thus, you were born underwater. I have told you the lineage of our gurus. Our parampara is Datta Parampara. Adi Guru Dattatreya is your sacred spiritual guru.
Thus, Jayalakshmi completed the narration about Satyanarayana's birth. Finally, she said,
"You figure out how you were born and who assisted you during your birth."
As usual, Jayalakshmi ended her narration with a question, leaving young Satyanarayana to find the answer for himself.